Hey guys, good to see you again. Today's workout is just going to be using a small dumbbell, a single dumbbell. This is a 5-pound weight, so it's purposely to be light in case you just want to get your heart rate going, not trying to build too much muscle. Although lifting heavier weights doesn't necessarily build muscle unless you eat properly to support that muscle growth. Nutrition plays a huge role whether you're trying to maintain your weight, lose weight, or gain weight. Small weights, it does make it tougher to gain muscle regardless of what your nutrition is, because for some a light weight may not be enough of a stimulus. But regardless of that, we're going to use a light dumbbell to work the muscles, but mainly to add a little bit of resistance so we could get our heart rate up even easier. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, as I said, I'm going to use a small dumbbell. I have a 5-pounder. You could use whatever dumbbell you like to use that you have handy or at your gym, but this video, as I said before, specifically using a small dumbbell. So once again, depending on how strong you are, you might need a bigger one, or if you're a little bit weaker, that's fine too. You could use a 2 or 3 pounder. I just picked a 5 because it's a pretty common number and it is light for me. Okay, so we'll get started with this first exercise. Now, this is not a follow-along exercise program, but I'm going to give you some ideas. And of course, if you want some follow-up ideas or me to do a follow-up or follow-along, do a follow-along exercise program, then just write in the comment box below that you're interested in that, and then I'll make one that's a follow-along. Okay, so we're going to do one dumbbell in one hand. So in this one, you want a wider than shoulder width stance, keeping the weight to the center of the body. I'm going to go down as far as I feel comfortable, keeping it close, press. So when I'm doing this one, I want to go fairly quickly, and I would go for 30 seconds. Then before I rest, I'd switch hands 30 seconds on this one. So if you notice, I'm bending a lot with my knees, which means I'm coming down like this, like I'm gonna squat and touch a chair with my butt. I don't want to lean forward and put too much pressure on my lower back. Your core and your back's gonna be working on this anyway, but yeah, let these big, strong muscles take the workload. So it's down, short press, down, short press. Once again, you could do 30 seconds per side, 1 minute per side. Rest before you go to the next one, or do 3 sets of this cycle. On this next one, once again, still using my same dumbbell, take a wide stance, and I'm gonna do a figure 8. So I'm gonna cross, and on that side that I bend, I switch. So I'd like you to keep your chin up, because that helps to keep the back more straight. So once again, it protects your lower back. So on this one, if you notice, I'm going front to rear, but you can also make it a little bit more difficult, because this is a little more awkward, because it kind of feels less natural. Now, if all of this feels unnatural to you, that's fine too. But once again, you want to shoot for 30 seconds to a minute. Just have a good time with it. Keep the back straight. Once again, bending at the hips to protect the lower back. Go as quickly as you feel comfortable for 30 seconds to a minute. Rest, do another set, rest, and then do another set. All right, on this next one, it might be a familiar exercise to you. It's a variation of a goblet squat. Now, typically for one of those exercises, you would use a kettlebell, but I don't have one with me right in this room. I'd have to go fetch one to the other room. But for this purpose, your single dumbbell, keeping it simple, works. So I hold each hand on each side of the dumbbell. Once again, wide stance, toes out slightly if you need. Keep the weight close to my body. Go down as far as I feel comfortable, and up, down, and up. So once again, I want to go back as if I'm touching a chair with my bottom, and up. Full range of motion. Once again, I'm not bending forward, down, and up. So once again, it's not a speed thing, but the less rest you do in between sets, the more your heart rate is going to get up and stay up. By the time you finish all of these, if you do it properly, you will have your heart rate going, you will probably be sweating, and it's a good workout using a light weight. That'd still be a challenge, especially if it's not like your typical workout, or if it's a workout where you haven't worked out in years, or you're just a beginner. Of course, you still want to have your doctor's approval and say so, but if all is good and you already have his or her approval, then this would be a pretty safe and effective exercise collectively. All right, this next exercise is gonna work the posture muscles of the upper back by hitting the trapezius, your rhomboids, probably some of your teres major, teres minor, and the lats. So what I wanna do, and I'll face this way so you can see, you could stagger your stance if you like, or have your feet parallel to one another. You're gonna bend at the knee some, then bend at the waist. I'm gonna hold the dumbbell on each of the bell part. Keep my arms extended, raise up, squeeze those upper back muscles, and back down. Up, hold, and down. So once again, this one's not particularly tough with the light weight. However, if you have shoulder mobility issues, this could be plenty of weight. Because after you do a number of repetitions with this one, you will definitely start to feel it in the rear delt some, get a little bit of that muscle burn. But when I'm bent down like that, my core is engaged, and so you're using a lot of muscles, and therefore your heart rate is gonna go up some still, just because your respiration, your breathing has to go up to supply those muscles with that oxygen. Now in this one, you might need to use a chair to help with balance. The reason why it's a variation of what's called the golfer stretch, but made it a little tougher with the dumbbell. So what you wanna do on this one, if you need the chair, the leg that's gonna be closest to it, that's the one I'm gonna stand on. My left hand and my left leg are gonna be what's moving. So if you need to, you touch this, go down as far as you feel comfortable, come all the way up to the top, and repeat that motion. Now this one isn't a speed thing, so you don't have to do it for the 30 seconds to a minute. Although if you want to do a minute, that's fine. Just don't think of speed, because you can get a number of repetitions in that 1 minute. So what this is doing is that as I go down, my right leg, the leg I'm standing on, it's like a straight leg deadlift. So by doing that, it's going to work the hamstrings, butt, and lower back. And then you just switch to the other side. Now, if you could do this without the chair, that's awesome. But if you can't, because it does require a pretty good amount of balance, then for safety's sake, use it. So once again, my left hand's on this, left leg is what I'm standing on, my right leg's gonna go up as my right hand goes down. So also to protect my knee and to make it a little bit better for balance, I only have a slight bend in that left knee. Come all the way up, good posture, down, and up. Now, as I said, you could do it for time, but don't think of it as a quick thing. You typically want to do 12 to 15 repetitions. That should be sufficient. But I would recommend, once again, to get the heart rate going some, do 12 to 15 on one side, immediately go to the other side, then rest after that. On this next exercise, it's a little bit more challenging, but what I'm going to do on this one is you start in a full straight arm plank position or a push-up position, dumbbell in one hand. Now this one's a little tougher, but that's because you're supporting more of your body weight using your arms instead of just your legs. So I'm up in that plank position. I want my feet wider than my shoulder width. I'm gonna reach up to the sky, back down. Now to keep it more simple, I'm doing all on one side. Now I can go up, down, switch to the other side, down, switch, up, and repeat that range of motion. So both are good ways to doing it. One's a little easier when you stick to one side. Just do what you feel is safe and comfortable. Now on that one you could do for time, but once again, it's not a speed thing. So what I would recommend is, once again, 12 to 15 reps per side. After you finish the other side, that's when you rest. All right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed that video. If so, thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends or anybody you think that could benefit from that exercise. It all helps support my channel, and I appreciate if you're already subscribed to me. Thanks again. Very kind of you. Hopefully my videos have been somewhat entertaining and educational for you. Of course, if you have any other ideas to help me out, or if I haven't done something, I mean, I can't think of everything, so, but I'm trying. So if you can come up with something, just put it in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to make it happen, as long as I can physically or mentally do it. So it's good seeing you guys again. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.